Starting to the bottom right of the map, we have our Protoss player for LGIM, the water Pokemon.
LGIM Squirtle.
Squirtle, the final player, undefeated this season so far. He's up against a player to the bottom left in blue for the team, AZUBU. He is
AZUBU Symbol.
strong Zerg, comes from a long line of Zergs from the TSL team.
He's such a great player. The reverse all kill that he achieved in 2012, I will never forget this match. One of the best matches that I've ever casted in my entire life. And now we have him up against Squirtle, the water Pokemon. Such a strong player, an amazing Protoss, known for his builds and individually. He was a finalist. He came up to the last match in the best of 7 series against MVP, where he then lost. And these players are amazing. I mean, those are the ace players for their team. Guys, make sure that you check them out on Twitter. Symbol, if you haven't added him just yet, if you're a Zerg player, if you follow him in Code S, join him on Twitter. AZUBU Symbol is his ID. And for Squirtle, it is LGIM Squirtle. Both players are quite active on Twitter. And of course, you can also add the two of us, myself at Calder with a KH and Wolf at ProxyWolf. Tweet at us and let us know what you think about the match, and especially about this team match here. It was amazing so far. We had a couple of scrappy games, but overall a really interesting series now going into the ace match here on Whirlwind.
Yeah, this has been pretty cool so far. I mean, very close, back and forth. And you know, you talked about Squirtle being a finalist who lost to MVP. Symbol is a finalist who lost to Roro. So they're both Code S finalists. I like this on the drone, but it's just, he does not fall for it.
Yeah, back when Squirtle was still part of StarTale, it was so funny. After Live won the season against MVP, he gave Squirtle the prize for just a picture, so that Squirtle could finally just hold this huge check that he got. And of course, that is where Squirtle wants to go again. He wants to go back into the finals and win a championship, but it's very, very tough to pull it off, especially now with all the Casper players also participating.
Yeah, very, very difficult. He's forced to make his hat-trick on the third base, which he did not want to do. That was really well done by Squirtle. You know, he could have just fallen for it right away and been like, no, yeah, we'll go into the main base now and see if he's there. Or could have gone to a different spawning location. But he knew after scouting all the other bases that this is where he is for sure. And he did not fall for the trick. So this means that now Symbol has his base in an uncomfortable position, you know, not in the order he wanted to. It's not easy to walk clean over there.
And Squirtle, as mentioned earlier, he was quite successful in this season. The last time we saw him play was on the first week of the GSTL in the match against FX Open, where he was successful against Hurricane, against JKS, and against Lenok. So, especially against Zerg, very, very strong in this season so far. Now he's up against another strong Zerg player, and Symbol is, of course, I mean, this guy he just took down first. He did it in quite a convincing fashion. And now on a big map, it's going to be interesting to see what what Squirtle is going to do here, if he's going to go for that Colossus timing.
Yeah, you know, the Colossus timing seems to make sense given our positions that we spawned in now. Pro barely escapes, mind you, back home after scouting. And I'm going to double check. I'm not actually 100% sure that Squirtle saw both bases. He only, yeah, no, he saw both, never mind.
Yeah, that game is going to be so important now for LGIM. If they lose here, they will be all at the bottom of the ranking together with the Prime team and also, of course, with NS Hosa. For AZUBU, it would be amazing. They're currently with 2 wins and 1 loss, very well positioned in the rankings. If they get another win here, they will be all the way at the top on rank 1. That's going to be exciting here. The playoff ranks, they are so close for both teams. It's really important for both of them to win this.
Yeah, really, really important indeed. Here's the Stargate coming out for Squirtle. Yep. So he is going to be going for, it looks like, initially a Phoenix play here.
Yeah, Stargate opening for him. Symbol is taking now his gas, adding the 2 extractors. He has the queens ready, 1 for each base, and he's taking the gas at the 3rd base and also 1 in the main. So 3 extractors currently from. Oh, sorry, my bad. Only the spawning pool. Just judging by the minimap there.
Yeah. By the way, we have no +1 for Squirtle, so we're not going to see a Void Ray. Definitely not. It is something that we see on this map from time to time. Void Ray +1 Zealot timing, but not going to be the case. It starts the Phoenix now, and he's going to send the Stalker Zealot pressure out.
Yep, tries to be a little bit aggressive here. And that's always awesome. If you can go out against a Zerg player early on and be aggressive, if the speed is late, that gives you so much wiggle room as a Protoss player. And he has a really good shot at not taking out only the Queen, but also taking out a few of those boats. But now the second Queen is suddenly there, and the Zerglings are on the move. So it could be exactly the opposite.
Barely gets away with those Stalkers. Nice control here.
That
the Queen
so close.
almost lost the Queen there. That was really well done by Symbol.
You know, if he would have targeted the first Queen that he attacked with the Zealot and not the second one, he would have at least gotten 1 kill.
3 gates and +1.
Yeah, there we go. Double Evolution Chamber started for Symbol. Squirtle wants to be aggressive here. Really unfortunate for him that he did not take down one of those Queens. He could have done it.
Yeah, and he knew he forced the speed to be late, because when you block the hatchery so significantly with a pylon, your opponent takes a third hatchery, he's not going to take only those 2 bases and leave the natural blank and then go for the speed. He's going to, of course, have a later speed.
He's trying to get those Queens. He knows that both of them are damaged and he's moving in, but there's a third one already, and the Spore Crawler is nearly done. He's picking off drones instead, at least one. Now Queen number 1 is down. Has to retreat, though.
That was...
Well, that was worth it.
It was worth it since he didn't lose the Phoenix, for sure.
Yeah. Was close, though.
Definitely close. If he lost the Phoenix, even if he killed the Queen, it would not have been worth it, since there's so many extra Queens.
Upgrades before lair tech, by the way. You can really see that. I mean, the strategy that Symbol is currently aiming for is going into Ultralisks later on. He gets the Roachborn too in case there is now the aggression coming his way, but he wants to go into Ultralisks. That's why he's getting the melee upgrade now.
He's also going into Mass Queens. He's
Exactly.
gone up to now 7?
Yep.
No, 5.
You always want to have a lot of Queens with your Ultralisk that you can transfuse, and if you get the Queens early on in the game, you don't really commit gas to that you want to use for your tech, but you have the transfuses ready, you can spread your creep, you can also defend against aggression. So it's a very safe build that Symbol is using right now, and with the upgrades before lair tech, he's also in a position where he can use his Zerglings against gateway units.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. This style is so popular and it's so effective, especially with the Ultralisk buff going into Heart of the Swarm. Really, really good strat here. Picks off 1 Queen and picks up a second one.
Yeah, but he can't really do anything here. I mean, he didn't kill a single one of the 2 just yet because there was too much. Way too much firepower against the Phoenixes. You can really see that Squirtle is trying, but Symbol is not giving him a chance to do a lot of damage.
Yeah, at this moment in time, he's just trying to find any opening. He has all this information in the world, though. He knows what style he's up against. He can see all these Queens. He can see the Evolution Chambers as well as the Infestation Pit going down now.
I mean, that was the first thing that Symbol did as soon as he completed Lair. He went into the Infestation Pit. We will see Lair. The Spire is just a precaution in case there is going to be a timing. He needs to be careful. He knows that this is the last game of the entire series. It's so important to win here, and you don't want to lose because you made a slight mistake or were a little bit too greedy.
I don't think he'll use the Spire at all unless he sees he needs to. Double Stargates going down for Squirtle, though. Squirtle is known for his Void Rays, and we're certainly going to see quite a lot of them going into this, which is, you know, it's weird because we talked about this before. We talked about this a lot in different Team League matches, but Void Rays are good against Ultras, but the Queens are the problem.
You know, when we had Squirtle play the last time against FX Open, he played a second match against JKS. It was on Belcher Vestige. And what JKS did was go for Ultralisks and Queen. And Squirtle said afterwards in the interview that he was really surprised how well those Queens were doing against his Void Rays. So this is a little bit risky what he does here. There are so many Queens now for Symbol that Void Rays will have a tough time. And of course they are awesome against the Ultralisk, but if you have a mass transfuse, it's a completely different story.
This is great getting these Zerglings here for free, which actually evens up the supply a little bit. And he starts the Void Rays now, Chrono boosting only 2. We will start a third one pretty soon. And he doesn't have any air upgrades at all. He's going to want to start researching those.
There are 12 Queens already. 12 Queens. Hive Tech is nearly completed. We should see the Ultralisk Cavern in just a second. +2/+2 is on the way. There's the Ultralisk Cavern. Does skip out on the Adrenal Glands. Exactly.
Phoenix is still continuing to scout here. Sees the 4th going up very late. And he can confirm 100% this is what strategy is going for. You will even see the Ultralisk Cavern here.
50 Zerglings, that's what he's getting now. He wants to put on some aggression before he's heading into the Ultralisk. The Queens are still there. You can see the army for Squirtle. This is going to shape up to be an epic battle. We have range now for the Colossi. We have more and more Void Rays coming in. Even the upgrades now, the +1 attack upgrade for and the shields.
He only has 2 Colossi right now. And he does not start a third, but he does start a second Robo. I think he's definitely going to have to add more Immortals. He's starting one right now. I think he's going to need at least one more.
Yeah, he's going into additional Immortals now. And with all the structures that he has, he is so flexible later on.
Yeah, and he can even add more gateways. He's doing exactly that as I speak. He's going to start a wall and make a fourth base over to the bottom left, I think. He could take it to the right side, which is farther away, but the fourth that's closer to this base means he can continue to attack as he is now. He's going to force an engagement here. The Ultralists are not ready.
There we have the Corruptors. He realized that he needs a few against the Colossi, against the Phoenixes and the Void Rays. Now Corruptors make a lot of sense in addition to what he already has on the map. 5 Ultralisks on the way. Genius plating already being researched. Here come those Zerglings trying to maybe set up a flank. The Queens are there.
Queens are there. He's got those Void Rays scouting to the north.
Needs to spread his creep a little bit to make those Queens more viable. He needs to have them on creep. If they are off creep, they're just so slow.
Speaking of Queens on creep, he comes over here and takes out the shield to one of those Void Rays.
And here are the Corruptors now. Still waiting, of course, for the cooldown. Ooh, the Ultralisk is blocked. Uh-oh, but here comes the Mothership Core being taken out. The double time warp not doing anything at all. A bit of an oversight here by Squirtle. This is going to be dense. Wolf, fourth base taken to the top left, and Squirtle is being pressured.
He fixed the Ultralisk. He's making more and more of those Immortals right now. And
you know, we've seen actually Ultralisk armies being completely taken apart by Immortals.
It's all about the positioning, remember? You know,
yeah.
If you go into a choke point, this is going to be exactly what happens to you.
Exactly. You need to be very, very careful how you engage such an army. The Protoss player is still on 3 bases. And you know, Symbol doesn't have to attack. He can still be here and take his bases. He can just try to trade a little bit. And he's moving in right now. He's trying to make this work, but he does not want to fight in a choke point.
No, he does not, but the Ling's getting caught a little bit here. That wall is such a big problem for him. Even one Zealot alone is going to wall him off there. And the Archons are so late. That's something I'm a little bit surprised to see, as how late the Archons are.
So many Immortals here, and he's already moving back. He's going into Nidus network right now. He realizes that there's no need for him to attack. There is no 4th base. So what does he do? He dedicates all his resources to Spine, Spore Crawlers. He's going oversupply here.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's definitely going to oversupply. He's going to the Brewlords now, 4 of them. Remember, he doesn't have very much air upgrades. He is getting +2 right now, but it's a little bit behind. There's the oversupply.
There's the cancel, and he actually does not have oversupply. He's still at 191. Not quite sure what happened there.
Yeah, I think he just realized he didn't have enough gas to do that.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. The gas limiting factor here. He's still going into 3-3, and look now at those. We have immediately the Broodlords. They are there, and Squid, let's be careful. 5 bases now for Simple.
Ideally, the Archons want to tank. The Broodlords are having a graphical bug here. Don't get stressed out.
Yeah, a little bit of a diamond shave on their head.
Here we go. The Archons tanking at the front. Zealots charge to the left.
And the Overlords with a graphic back. That's probably an Alphalooza. At least so far, they didn't do too much dying to the Archons here. But those Corruptors, they go to town.
The Immortals are fighting, but the Ultras could not close the distance. And this is looking very good for Squirtle here. He destroys all the Ultras. There's nothing left but Corruptors and Queens.
But he's losing his Colossi. He's losing all of those Phoenixes, or also the Void Rays.
Yeah, that Broodlord wishes it could get into the Nidus network, but it will not be happening.
Symbol lost a lot here, but he has the better bank. He's the one who can remax once again.
He's trying to decide how he wants to do it. Remember, his 3-3 was not done during that fight.
Smart choice. He goes to the right side of the map. He's trying to take down that 4th base. If he can keep the economy of Squirtle low, then all that he has to do is take down this army and defend.
Adrenal glands here coming into play quite a bit. He has to cancel.
There's no other choice.
But this base may be killed as well.
Yeah, the 5th base is definitely going down, but he still has a 4th to the top left.
Yeah, he has a 4th to the top left, and he also has that bank still.
Oh, massive transition here now into even more Broodlords and a lot of Zerglings. With the maxed out upgrades, he has a good shot at taking down the ground army with them.
And the Broodlords get those same upgrades once they drop those purple squares on the ground. That's when things get serious.
There's only one Archon, and you know we have so many Immortals that the Zerglings are awesome against this composition.
Yeah, he does not really have any force fields here. He's only got 1 sentry. It looks like it only has 1 force field within it. And this base over here is basically forfeit. The Archons aren't ready. There's not enough cannons here.
And he moves in. The Archons aren't ready. The cannons are not ready either. The Lings are going to take this down. A great choice by Symbol to go for the Zerglings here. He knows that he needs a mobile army against this. He needs to take down this 4th base, keep the economy low of the Protoss player. That's exactly what he does here.
He's done it so well. Now he can actually escape through the other side and keep his Lings alive.
Hit and run, that's what we see Symbol doing here. He is the one who goes up to 170 supply once again, but Squirtle, he's ready with the Tempest transition.
Yeah, Tempest transition, though, is very expensive, and when you're low on gas, as he is now, things are going to be pretty hard to figure out. Now he's got to be very patient. Every Zealot counts here. It's every 100 minerals that he's using on these Zealot run-bys are really, really important. Targets the hatch.
It also means that currently Cyril is not able to dedicate to a huge attack run-bys with those few Zealots. That's all that he can do.
Yeah.
Because he needs to save this 4th. He has no other choice.
Exactly. He will barely not get this hatchery, so this is something that Symbol's going to have to be wary of. He needs to make sure there's no forward pylons around. In this case, there's not, but he can't just let that hatchery sit.
Symbol has the map control now once again, and he pressured Squirtle so much that Squirtle has to sit tight to the right side of the map. He can't move in. Run-bys, that's all that he can do for now. But the composition that he's going for is such a strong one. Having those Tempests in addition to this strong ground force is really good. The problem really is that Zerglings are still very effective against this.
Yeah, they really are. You know, if there's no Archons nearby, you could tell there he considered. He was like, maybe I kill these Immortals, and he was like, nah, I can't do it. There's too many Archons.
Yeah, it's too much, and also a big problem for him is that even though Zerglings are effective against this composition, Zerglings alone are not going to cut it here.
I really like the Infestors that he's making. The Infestors are going to really help him out quite a bit. There's a massive attack going to the north right now. No Mothership Core, so no recall available here. What he sends out here, he's going to have to keep out here.
The 4th is safe now for Squirtle, at least for now, so now he's dedicating a lot of units there to the top left. But as you already said, there is no Mothership Core. He's going to lose a lot of those.
Those 2 Zealots are attacking, but there are enough transfuses to keep this hatch alive.
The hatch is still alive, but a lot of the units for Squirtle were able to get away. And still the Broodlords with their graphic glitch here.
Don't forget about the bank for Symbol. He's got 1,300 gas. He spends it into 9 Infestors right now. 9. And that's going to put him up to a total of 18 when those finish. That's a lot of Infestors. Infested Terrans, Fungals.
Yeah, Infested Terrans will be really good in this situation. He can use them in the fight. And we have him still with a huge lead in the upgrades. There's only 1 armor upgrade for Squirtle. He could not get them. He didn't have the resources.
Yeah. This is looking worse and worse all the time, just simply because he can kill those bases.
And this is a massive army here for Squirtle. Already sending the Broodlings in, trying to scout what's going on here. Maybe hitting the natural. He's moving in. He has the Zerglings there.
Oh, that Colossus is so dead.
Well, that was the bad luck Colossus.
Yeah, really bad luck. At the same time,
screw bad luck Brian, man. That was bad luck Colossus right there.
These Corruptors, you know, can't really engage the Tempest. The Tempest on the right side, I mean to say Queens, not Corruptors. He doesn't have very many of them, though. He only has 3 Tempests here.
He has a lot of Infested Terrans right now, but here comes the army. A good Fungal blocking them at the front. Here come the Tempests, and even more Infested Terrans everywhere.
Infested Terrans here ignoring the Tempest completely, pushing this Squirtle army back, and he's trying to kite with those Tempests now. Every shot counts.
And while Squirtle is trying to hold this ramp and moving in, we still have a lot of units going into the natural, taking down the Nexus, maybe even moving into the main base. This warp-in is awesome on the other hand.
It really is, especially with the new Nidus going down. Those Symbols should be able to defend and then send units to the front lines.
And look at this army here. He's trying to evacuate with this 1 Nidus that he has. He's trying to get those units back to safety. Immediately being targeted down by Squirtle.
This is such a sick game. He kills the Ultras now. So many of the Queens getting caught off creep. And the Zealot Warpins in the main are good. All the units he sent back in the Nidus started to help out, but he should target, I really feel, the Ultras Cavern here.
Yeah, he could kill the tech, but he's trying to move now down to the natural. And at the same time, Squirtle is pushing in with the rest of his army. Symbol is suddenly on the ropes. He's at 160 supply against 183.
Ultras Cavern goes down. He's going to lose this base. That's very important. Not because of the minerals, but because of the gas here.
The Symbol of Hope is nearly being eliminated here. Squirtle is trying to end this game. He's moving in. He doesn't have warp-ins available to the main base anymore since there is no Warp Prism left. But look at those upgrades for Squirtle.
He wants a Fungal.
He's so much better with upgrades.
He wants that Fungal so bad, but he can't have it. He walks away. More Archons coming down. You're so right about the upgrade deficit.
Squirtle with those 4 bases, he's making this work.
He really is, and you know, he doesn't have all that many resources, but he's spending them well. He wants to get the +2 shields, he wants to get the +2 armor, but he has to spend more and more money on these Archons. He's going big on Archons now.
This is such an awesome game that we are seeing here. Symbol is down in supply, but he is trying to pull through, pushing in once again, taking down another Archon. Squirtle working here for his position.
Oh, this is so intense at this moment in time.
Yeah.
He can't use his bank forever. You know, look at his minerals. He's only got 150 left.
This Observer is so great, and here come the bundles. He's moving in, and here come the Corruptors with the Corruption.
But the Archon's taking out everything so quickly here. The Corruptor's not able to really kill those Colossi off just yet.
Infestus Terrans are there, but not for much longer. Most of them are already gone, and Squirtle is ahead with 150. GG! LGIM takes this so important win against AZUBU. Hirai happy, relieved. Squirtle does it. He is 4-0 in the GSTL now.
Undefeated, and man oh man, does he deserve that rank. You know, there's never been a question in my mind that one of the players who only gets one win is the MVP, as there's now. He took out Symbol in a crazy intense game, so clutch for his team, and to me, Squirtle is the MVP.
Squirtle fought, and he fought well, but the Olza lineup for Team AZUBU was not successful today. They
Big
were
day
close.
for Protoss.
Yeah. The day of the Protoss. Only Protoss player successful here for the team.
Yep. Symbol, you know, not showing too much emotion here, but this win was so much more important and so much more pivotal than if AZUBU had won. They would have just gotten the first place spot, but they're already in the top 4. So for them, you know, this is kind of like, we're not in the first and we don't have as good of an indicator as we did before because of this. But, you know, they only go -1 because it's a 4-3. And yeah, it's never a good thing to lose, but it was much more important for LGIM to win.
LGIM would have been in a really bad position if they would have lost this match, and they know it. Squirtle, of course, is happy here. His team called upon him when they were in need, and he delivered. Hirai is relieved. He knows exactly what would have happened if they would have lost this match.
Squirtle, you know, you can almost see that he's so overwhelmed by this, he doesn't even have an expression. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what Hirai and him have to say in the interview.
A really great last game. I enjoyed this so much. I mean, Symbol really pressured Squirtle for a long time, taking down this 4th base over and over again. But the engagement, it was so difficult for him to come through against the armor composition that we saw for Squirtle. Immortals alone, they take Ultralisks apart. You can't transfuse as fast as the hit points drop on those Ultralisks once the Immortals focus.
The Archon count that he had was always really, really high. He knew that he needed those Archons to do the extra damage to anything really on the ground. Make it Zerglings, infested Terrans, even the Ultras. They block the Ultras. The Archons take a lot of damage from the Ultras, and then the Immortals at the back do the damage. They also block out the Lynx, so the Lynx can't surround the Immortals.
The Void Rays that we had as well, if you just rely on 1 or 2 unit types, it's really difficult to make this happen. We talked a little bit earlier how Squirtle also played against JKS, who used a similar style, and was a little bit surprised that he didn't really he didn't really do too much with his Void Rays only, but this time he mixed it up so much. The core of his army, definitely the ground army here, with all those Immortals that we had against the composition of Symbol, but then also a few Void Rays in the air just to do the extra damage.
Also notice that he had a few High Templar just on the ground to feed back the Infestors if he could, and also he knew there was a possibility some Vipers might come out and use some Blinding Cloud on his army. That's something I was a little bit disappointed we didn't get to see, but I think that part of the reason why Symbol was spending all of his gas on those Ultras, he didn't really have much to spare.
When what really did so much damage to Symbol, Squirtle with the choice to go for the Warp Prism, and those Warp-ins in the main base, they did so much. Not only did they take out the Ultralisk Cavern, but they pressured Symbol, and he really had to move back the entire time behind that. I loved the Nidus Network as a bit of a safety precaution play.
Yeah, it was great. Let's take a look at Hirai here, what he has to say. He's got to be so happy. He was really stressed out coming into this match.
Oh yeah, understandable. The position that they were in was a tough one. He says that he is, of course, very, very happy. They lost already 2 matches, so the team was a little bit worried that they wouldn't be able to win the game today or get a worse standing in the season. They're really happy that they were able to win today. Very relieved.
He's got to be so happy right now.
You could see earlier that he was really concerned that they would lose this match too. I mean, he was stressed out completely. So they're just asking what the thoughts were to send out when he sent out first into the series.
정말 잘해요. 그 연습 상황에서도 그렇고 모습을 방송에서 제대로 잘 못 보여주는 부분이 있어서
First is apparently really good in the team house right now.
방송 감을 잡는 게 더 우선이라고
And he was so
생각했고요.
far not really able to show his true skill in the broadcasted matches. So this was the reason why he sent him out into the series. He had a lot of confidence into first abilities
오늘
to
좀
play well today.
프로토스들에게 얘기를 했었어요. 오늘 너희들이 나갈
And he
거니까
showed it.
토스들 너희들이 이제 준비를 제대로 해라.
Squirtle sits to the right like a boss.
선수들이 잘 지켜준 것 같고요. 예.
네. 자, 강윤우 선수.
He actually told the Protoss that we're only sending out Protoss, so the Protoss had a lot of time to think about this and know that they were the ones.
It's a little bit like the AZUBU coach and Hirai were gambling a little bit, and one was like, okay, you know what, I'll only send out Zerg, you only send out Protoss. I'm like,
오늘
yeah,
좋은
that's
경기 아주 잘 봤는데
Yeah,
강윤우
it certainly
선수
seems that way.
김동원 선수를 잡아낼 때의 그 기쁨이라고 해야 되나요? 팀이 좀 썩 좋은 분위기
So we're going to hear
아니었잖아요.
from first.
팀이 별로 요즘 상황이 안 좋아.
How did you feel when you defeated Violet? Is what he's been asked.
계속 그래갖고 좀 팀워크를 좀 다지자 해갖고 좀
My team's been struggling recently,
활동을 많이 해서
and so he says he felt a little bit pressured going into the booth.
예.
그래서 그나마 좀 이기지 않았나 싶은 것 같아요.
뭐 본인의 수훈을 팀에게 또 돌리는 이런 겸손함까지.
His teammates stood behind him and gave him a lot of confidence, and that's what he says is the reason why he was able to defeat Violet.
이어서 현우 브라더스들의 활약이 좀 있었는데 강현우 선수 팀 내에서는 강현우, 박현우 선수 어떻게 부릅니까 동료들이?
그냥 둘 다 알아서 그냥 대답 안 하다가
They have the same Korean name,
누군가
Hyunwoo.
성 붙이면 그때 대답해요.
그냥 강현우, 박현우 이렇게 해요?
네, 그냥
So if someone calls out Hyunwoo, he doesn't really answer. He answers only when it calls out his last name. I'm talking about Squirtle and him having the same name.
진짜 그런가 봐요.
It's actually kind of funny. I never really thought about that until now.
리액션은 참 감사하게도 정말 그렇구나. 보통 이름을 부르면은
There's Yoda.
쳐다보기 말이야.
Did
요다
not play
최병현
today.
선수였나요?
Yeah, no Terran player, only Protoss, as he said.
이런
Was planning to send out only
네,
Protoss players
알겠습니다.
after
자,
the
강인우
initial
선수
CBZ.
앞으로도 멋진 경기 기대하겠고요. 자, 이어서 박현우 선수 마이크 부탁드리겠습니다.
Now, an interview with Squirtle, of course, we got to hear from him. He really is the MVP of today.
되게 긴장을 많이 했는데
He's of course being asked how the final match of the day was for him.
좋고요. 네, 그냥 기분이 많이
He said
좋아요.
that he was a little bit nervous going into the match, and he's very happy that he was able
대장으로
to
오늘
give his team the
출전을
victory
한다.
today.
박현우 선수가 등장을 할 때에 LGIM의 컨디션이 썩 좋지가 않았습니다. 왜냐하면 패배를 하게 되면은 정말 플레이오프가 거의 보이지 않는 지경까지 떨어질 수도 있었으니까요. 어떻게 그 긴장감을 극복을 했는지 어떤 생각이 딱 들던가요? 강동현 선수랑 경기
How
앞서.
did you overcome your nerves? Basically, is what
요새
she's
강동현
asking
선수가
him.
워낙 잘하시고 기세도 좋으셔서
Especially because if he lost, it would have been really hard to go into the
저도
playoffs.
전에 자신감 있기 때문에 제 플레이만 잘하면 충분히 승산
He
있을
says that
거라고
Symbol is a
생각했어요.
very, very good player.
자, 그러고 보니 박현우 선수가 이번
And that
시즌
Squirtle
진행
is very
중입니다만
confident against Zerg these days, and he just thought, okay, if I go into the series and just play my game, then I will be able to win.
마지막 대장전 승리까지.
And you know that in itself is a strategy. You know, just say I'm better than this guy. I think right now with how I'm doing in this matchup, and I'm just going to play a regular game. Asking him if he has any comments to his fans.
앞으로의 팀원들 기세라면 모든 경기 다 전승할 수 있을 것 같아요.
네, 알겠습니다. 오늘이 이제 상승세의 그 기점이라고 생각을 하고 팬들도 응원할 거라고 생각이 되네요. 자,
He feels like they're going to be able to win all their matches from now on and go into the playoffs with a good record, finishing out the season, finishing out the pennant race.
Well, if Hirai relies on him a little bit more often, I'm definitely sure that this is an option. Very bold statement here by Squirtle, but also one that is backed up by his excellent play in the team league.
Yeah,
so far.
4-0, not a single loss this season.
Yeah, and he did not play against NSO.
Yes, that's true.
So Squirtle doing really well here, taking the last win for his team against Symbol, probably the strongest player that we have on the lineup of Team AZUBU now. AZUBU, of course, still in a decent spot now, only a -1 indicator, and they have 2 wins, 2 losses. So it's not like they are suddenly at the bottom of the ranking. They still have a decent chance of getting one of those playoff spots.
For them, the worst thing is they are just not number 1, which they would have been taking a win here. But this is a much more important win for LGIM. So overall, you know, the league is we're starting to get closer and closer to that finishing point. And LGIM, you know, they were on the edge there. It was looking like they might have a really, really rough time getting into the playoffs, but they did clinch that win today, which helps them out quite a bit.
And also, one thing that we have to point out once again, we had a bit of a change over the system this season. Not only do we have a round-robin system, but we have a best-of-7. That's going to change once we hit the playoffs. In the playoffs, we have a best-of-9 once again, as we did in 2012. So then the matches will be a lot more intense even, and you have to rely on more players than you have to do right now in the matches. So something to keep in mind there. But in this system, we have now a 4-3 victory for LGIM over Team AZUBU. Really interesting matches today. Couple of crappy games, but a very interesting clan war and one of the closer ones that we had so far.
Yeah, great conclusion. Let's take a refreshing reminder to see how things start. I mean, we started off with Boom Boom versus Biola, ZBZ, the only one of the night. Everything else was Protoss versus Zerg.
Yeah, first able to take 2 victories for his team. Same was true in the last time that those 2 teams faced off against each other. Also back then, the winning team was LGIM. So AZUBU now losing twice against the strong team, against Incredible Miracle. Yeah, congratulations, job well done. And of course, we're having a quick look at the rankings. Yeah, give you a little bit of an overview.
So you can see Symbol's loss here doesn't mean that AZUBU is in a terrible spot, but they are now not in the top 5 because their indicator was decreased to 2.
Still ahead of LGIM. Both teams now all 5th and 6th in the rankings. And don't forget about the match that we have coming up tomorrow. The last 2 teams that only have 3 matches played so far, it's going to be Startail versus MVP.
And the winner of that will actually take that first place spot, whichever one wins, because as you can see, they both have a higher indicator than the current first place team.
Yeah, that's going to be a very, very exciting game, probably even more exciting than today's match. Startail versus MVP, I mean, both teams are doing so well. Live currently out of Code S, and he already messaged earlier on Twitter that he feels that his Terran versus Zerg is now back to where it was supposed to be when he was heading into the group. So if we have a few Terran players coming out for Team MVP tomorrow, I guess one of their opponents will be named live.
Yep, this is perhaps a preview of the finals. I mean, it very well could be.
MVP is a team that traditionally does very, very well in the team league. We keep repeating it, but it's definitely true. So tomorrow is going to be very exciting. Startail, of course, looking very strong, even though they had a few players leave the team earlier, of course Squiddle being one of them, and then also parting. But now we have them with such strong players as Bomber, Live. There's, of course, also Curious, for example, and Hack. So a lot of good players in the lineup, in the roster. Tomorrow is going to be a great day for the team league. And we are starting things off, of course, a little bit earlier.
Yeah, 5 hours early, so make sure you tell all your friends to tune in. Follow the 2 of us on Twitter, @ProxyWolf, @Calidor. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.